Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 20 of Absent Minded Podcast.
Big 2-0.
Today
Monumental.
is October 14th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Travis Stockton, at Ray Charlesard, and with me, as always, on my immediate left is Andrew Crandell,
Hey there, everybody.
at Andrew Loves Video Games. And on my immediate right is Ethan Newbolt, at Souls Bjorn.
How's it going out there in podcast land?
It's going. We
are flowing.
We're flowing like the rainwater outside, the muggy.
20 episodes. That is no small feat.
That's crazy to think we've been doing it this long. I mean, it's only, it's 20,
long.
but like,
It's just, we've been consistent, as was our original mission statement, I believe.
well, and also with all the watches, we've done more than 20.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's over a third of a year.
Yeah.
Do I need to do that math for you?
No, it just when you put it that way, you know.
Yeah. Half would be 26,
Yep.
and then a half of that would be 13.
It's like having
And it's in
$100 bills versus like putting it in ones.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one looks like more, even though
It's a wet, sweaty taint outside right now of a day.
Yeah, it's
I would
muggy
say.
and
It'll
gross.
probably be cooler after the rain stops, actually.
I hope. Literally, it sucked last week when we recorded.
We had like 2 nice days.
Yeah, we had 2 very nice days. Actually, I didn't tell you, I went to Old Town Spring.
Oh.
On
Playing
Sunday.
Pokemon.
Decided to go get out and enjoy the
Pokemon.
weather.
It was a community day this weekend, so a lot of people out
what?
playing Pokemon.
Pokemon Go, probably.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I don't play Pokemon Go.
No, a lot of people out there just playing
I play video
Pokemon on their
games.
Switch.
Yeah, no.
That's why I was like confused. I was like, what kind of...
They're just
Pokemon
walking
general?
around playing Let's Go Eevee, you know.
No, I didn't see
game
anyone
is
playing Pokemon
dead.
Go. Everybody was just enjoying the nice
Oh wait,
day.
what day did you say? I'm sorry.
Sunday.
Saturday.
I went
was community
Sunday,
day.
yeah.
I apologize.
I found a pepper shop. It's like a... Well, not I wish they had more peppers.
Pickled
like actual
peppers or just like
no, it was like
Pickle pepper.
lots of hot sauces and stuff. Actually, you've heard of Bravado. They're one of the
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
They
yeah.
do the
I know
blueberry.
what
and-
what
They were on
Bravado
a season
is.
of Hot
Yes.
Ones.
Yeah. They had like a whole line of their hot sauces. I picked
Really?
up the Serrano and basil.
Oh.
Sounded really fucking good. I want to put it on all my pizzas.
Nice.
That's my plan.
Go
with
for
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to let me know how it is.
It was tasty. I already had it.
Oh, you
'cause
did? Oh, okay.
This is one of those places that it's nice because they have like every sauce that they have on their shelves.
You can try.
They have like a large open cooler with like tasting spoons and stuff like that you can just
As
open up every
is
single bottle and give it a
tradition.
try. A lot of them were scary, so I only tried a couple of them.
Oh, that you didn't want to like go like
yeah, lots
you
of-
didn't want to debomb it or anything
Yeah,
like
lots
that.
of scorpion. They had to bomb actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot smaller bottle than I expected because I think it's just bad to consume any more than a
what they're
thimble.
giving you. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, lots of ghost pepper things. Lots
Do they have
of
any hot ones
scorpion
things? Or you probably can only buy all the hot ones stuff from their site.
Yeah, I don't think they. I'm pretty sure they only sell their stuff on their website.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're.
Well, the hot ones, specific ones, right? Or
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
mean like
exactly.
the ones.
the brand that they make. Yeah,
Yeah,
their
yeah.
branded one. Yeah,
You probably find some of the ones they have on the show.
no. That's what I was saying. They had the Bravado one that I had. Da Bomb was on the show. They had Pain 100 or 1000 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That was from like season 1 or something. Yeah, they had a bunch of the
Callback,
sauce. Most of the stuff
season 1.
I recognized was from hot ones. Like
Nice.
I'm not a hot sauce connoisseur, so I wouldn't remember anything if I hadn't seen a hot ones.
Yeah.
But,
Anyway.
yeah, man, it was cold, and now it's hot again.
Yeah, I was bummed when I got up this morning and I walked outside and I
you
just
bummed?
felt the heat on me and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
Bummed?
I just want it to be fall for real.
Exactly.
Yeah, bum like the taint.
But we
I
live
was
in a
referring
swamp,
to.
so
He felt bummed because of the wet, sweaty taint that is the outside today.
That was his taint.
Yeah, the taint's touched. Could you touch a taint to another taint?
Depends on
I-
your butt cheek
I
spreadability.
think you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew said, I think I could. Yeah.
I think you could.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, as
don't know.
in we could?
I mean, if you want. What are you
No.
doing later?
No, I
You could
don't.
try it with underwear on first just to see if you can feel contact.
We wouldn't really know, would we?
You wouldn't know for sure, but you get a good idea.
Yeah, I'm sure if you just mush it enough, you'll get contact somewhere.
Taint to taint.
I don't know. Let us know what you feel.
Yeah, if you guys want a quick video of Andrew and
touching.
Ethan touching taints, let us know. We'll see if we can accommodate that.
That's what we'll do
Yeah.
for our first donation.
Speaking of donations, you can always find us at absentmindedpodcast.com, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all those sites. God,
No, you can't
now I
think
can't
now.
stop thinking of the taint to taint thing. It's totally thrown off my
Mine's
foot.
Harry.
This is my fault. I did this.
Oh yeah, I'm like Chewbacca down there, dude. It wouldn't be great.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, the illusion.
If you love conversations like this, you can always support us through the listener support program. You can
My
donate $1,
parents listen
$5, or
to this show.
$10 via the listener support program on the
Speaking
website.
of that,
What's up?
I have a little special shout out to somebody at work. Liz wanted she wanted to start listening to the podcast, and I told her, I was like, well, if you start listening and stuff, I will give you a personal shout out. So shout out to Liz. She's a new hire at my Starbucks store, and she's pretty cool. So hi, Liz. I hope you're listening to this episode. I'll link it to you later I'll link you the podcast later.
You'll have to link it to her. She can just go to absentmindedpodcast.com or her favorite podcasting service, such as Spotify, Google Podcasts,
She
or
wants
iTunes.
links to like those places.
That's why. It's easy to remember. That's why we paid for the thing. Is because it's easy to put into your browser.
So hey, Liz, you're in the show forever and Spotify and other stuff. So that's cool.
So
Yeah,
back,
let Ethan know if you want us to touch taints.
back to what we usually talk about on the show. I got a quick correction.
Forgot about it for a second.
Last week we were talking about Sony Interactive Entertainment and all that stuff with Sean Layden and everything.
Right.
Just wanted to bring out that it's actually San Mateo, California, which is where their headquarters is now. It's about like 20
Saint
miles
Matt?
south of San Francisco. Yeah. Mateo.
Yeah, but I think the big news is just it's not in Japan anymore.
Sometimes we wear
Yeah, exactly.
stretchy pants.
We were close. We were just miles off.
Yep, just a
Not
mere
bad.
20.
Not bad for a correction. So, anything other than the usual Apex going on?
I picked up Kingdom Hearts for the first time, Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first time in a while since playing it, and I don't know if I'm enjoying it.
It took too far
you
away
beat it?
from it. You're supposed to play it when everyone was hyped up about it and no one was allowed to say anything bad about the game.
Yeah.
And now you're past the honeymoon
You're right.
and you don't have people breathing down your neck.
And Sora
saying it's
stopped
incredible.
brushing his teeth in the morning, and it's just like,
Well, it's also
He
just
just
like
let
Haley
himself
Joel
go.
Osment's like 28 now or something
hey,
like
fuck
that.
you,
And he-
Daily Joel Osment's a treasure.
You're right. He was 20 years ago.
Aw.
But
Dick move.
but it's just so weird to like hear his deep voice as Sora. It just feels strange and
Haley
just
Joel Osment is 31.
31. Excuse me. Yeah.
I think he does a great job
Born April 10th, 1988.
for being 30.
Yeah. Also, just like with the combat, there's just always so much shit going on screen.
Yeah.
That it's just like hard to keep
So
up with
Travis
everything.
mentioned something to me at one point for at a time. He didn't know that you could cycle through stuff
I did not, for a
to
long
pick
time.
what you wanted to choose as your like special. What are they even called?
Like on the top where it has like
What
the
the fuck?
attractions and
Yeah.
then the super magic or whatever where you can use like or
Yeah.
change your keyblade form and stuff. You can pick which one of those you choose. I always just assumed you're supposed to start from the top and you have to use
Cycle
each one
through
to
Wait,
get to
how
the
do you,
one
how do
you
you
want.
cycle through
I think
them?
it's like one of the trigger buttons, and it just goes through. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
because I was wondering
It's in
about that
one of the
today because like
tutorials,
because I was you
gotta
use the
read those
D-pad to
tutorials.
access like your items and magic and everything and I'm like why doesn't this go up to
it's
like
been a while.
yeah I'm like why doesn't this go up to like all the special moves and everything
Yeah, because I for me, I stopped using attractions.
Yeah,
I
they're just
was
annoying. Yeah, it's just
unless
too
I
much
got a
shit
new one.
on the
Yeah.
screen.
Unless I got a new one, I wanted to see it, obviously. But otherwise, I would just go straight to form change, and that was it.
Yeah.
like or the really good magic ones.
Yeah,
but
and the attractions did make things very easy, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, sure, if I was like, yeah, but for the most part, yeah, I was skipping through those. And Travis said he didn't know that, and I was like, oh yeah, that would have made the game way more tedious to me if I couldn't have skipped.
yeah, that was
the
one thing about it. Now that I know,
Yeah, it seemed like a design flaw for sure, but
It's in there.
you got to read the
It's in there.
tutorials. There's so many tutorials in that
in there.
game. Too.
God, yes. Even like just before we got off earlier
Obviously
today, I
for
got a
a
tutorial about the
reason.
fucking ship.
Yeah,
you know?
you're like 9
game.
chapters into this fucking game, and you're like still getting tutorials. What about you, Ethan? I know you playing Apex. I know, but
Very little Apex. This week was a little stressful, so there was actually very little time to myself going on.
you know what I hear is good for stress.
What?
Playing a video
Yeah,
game.
you know,
Yeah.
I just couldn't focus on that part of the playing the game. So
I got a game
the
actually
enjoyment of part of it.
that I played this week that I think both of you might enjoy
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think.
a bit more than
if it's one night stand, I've tried those, and I don't know. I wasn't a fan.
No, not One Night Stand. I'll talk about that one also. Actually, that one's quicker. I did play a game called One Night Stand that just came out. I don't know.
Did you win? Wink, wink.
Well, so there's multiple endings, of course.
what did you lose?
I did lose.
Hashtag,
I did the thing because I
not a good
wanted to
idea.
get the platinum for it because it's pretty quick. If you
How long
wanted
is
to,
it? Yeah.
you get the platinum in like an hour.
So what kind of is it like a dating simulator kind of thing? Or?
No, so it's a visual novel, and the whole point is that you
Try to date.
had a one night stand, and you wake up in someone else's bed.
Yeah.
and it's just those opening minutes of the day where it's just like,
Oh, hey.
yeah, like it is. The conversations are a little awkward and stuff. Are you gonna try to get to know this person? Are you gonna try to like slip out the door when
Is
she's in the
there-
bathroom, kind
Yeah.
of thing?
Is there an option just to be like, fuck it, want to stay in bed and just do it again?
No, because I went through all of that.
0 out of 10.
I went through like every ending and whatever.
0 out of 10.
Yeah, because it's structured similar to like a visual novel. You get a couple of different decisions, but you wake up in the bed and you're like bleary eyed.
Yeah.
You're looking for your phone. Your buddy texts you or whatever. Is like, hey man, you ditched this last night. What happened? And
Yeah.
you have like the choice of, oh, do I reply to him or do I like
just
ignore
ignore
this
it, yeah.
and try to go back to sleep or whatever? Most of it is just like slight changes in dialogue because it's made by like Radalaika Games or something. I can't remember how to pronounce their name, but they make a lot of these like shorter experiences that are usually games that cost between like $1 to $5 that are easy to put on mobile and on many different
Yeah, and
platforms.
you don't have
quickly.
to like. You can just eat. They're easy to play.
Yeah, very easy to play. But it was entertaining. Like I said, you can literally go through like every permutation within an hour or so.
Oh, that's
but
not
I
bad.
totally fucked up on the first playthrough. Like,
really?
Because I went blind on my first one to see like what I got, and then I followed a guide to like see, oh well, which things.
Yeah, I had to
choice do
get the
make or
sending and everything, yeah.
Because the first one, what was it? One of the key decisions you make at the very beginning is again whether or not you text your buddy back or not, and if you text him. He like doesn't believe that you hooked up with someone because he's just like, dude, your pull game is terrible. Like I've
Right,
seen you
yeah.
with girls. No, there's no way you ended up at home with somebody. And you have the choice of, oh, do I take a photo of her
Oh.
and send it to him, or do I just say like, oh fuck it? Did
you take a photo?
I don't have to prove anything. The first time I did, yeah, I
Oh.
took the photo. And,
That's-
like,
and then the cops come, right?
it's just her like back turned or whatever, so there's no
Right.
nudity or anything.
Uh-huh.
But
Scantily.
of course, yeah, like because the way it always plays out, she gets up, rushes off to the bathroom because you're both hungover. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot of drinking involved.
Right.
Again, you wake up and you don't even like you weren't expecting to not be in your own bed, so like clearly blackout drunk, and you kind of talk, and you have she goes in and out of the room every once in a while, and so you have
Yeah.
options to like look around the room a little bit to either get to know her more. And one of the first things I did, I can't believe how badly I did the first one. So, because you guys just like, oh, I don't even remember her name. That's going to be really awkward if I
Oh,
admit to that.
geez. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, what's a good way to figure out her name? And I'm looking around, and her wallet's right there. And so I open the wallet, and there's like 6 pockets. I click one of them, and it's like, oh, a library card. It's got a name on there. It says her name's Luis.
Right.
And I was like, oh, perfect, cool. And I
Spoiler alert.
got out of the wallet because I was like, I'm not trying to like invade her life, but I wanted to look for like an ID or something. And then you go and have the conversation, and eventually you say her name, and she's like, that's not my name. What made you say that name? And you have to be like, oh, I saw the library card or whatever. She's like, why were you in my wallet? And then she like throws you out. And I was like, oh shit.
Damn, yeah.
Luckily, I did
Fucking
grab my
idiot.
pants at one point because it was like you can get thrown out of here without your
Without any
clothes.
pants on. That's hilarious.
Because your pants and underwear and shit
Just
are on
all
the ground.
spread over a place.
Yeah. And what was it? I was looking for underwear, and at the beginning of this, I'm just like clicking around. And one of the things you can do is her panties are on the ground, and like pick them up, and he's like, "Oh, I can put these on." So he puts on her panties, and then I find the pants to put those on. So like,
Nice.
she
Is that
doesn't
a
realize
is that a
I'm wearing
trophy?
things.
Yeah.
I think and one of the endings is like, yeah, you like. I think it's called a memento.
Yeah.
So like, it's the name of the trophy.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there's a lot of different. It's actually fairly entertaining, and I think it was like $4
this
or
is on
something like
PlayStation
that.
Network or
it's on
Steam?
PS4, yeah.
might
It's.
check that
I mean, I think it's on like every platform.
I might check that
Yeah,
out.
I know
But-
because I think Greg Miller posted that he got the platinum as well.
Oh, did he? Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, because he buys a lot of those kind of games that are easy platinum
Yeah.
and stuff. But it was actually surprisingly entertaining for what it was, and some of the points you get in certain
Talent points.
routes, I guess, or whatever, are kind of heartwarming and stuff, like the story that evolves and everything. So it's very interesting. It's fun. It's almost one I would say would maybe even be better if it's on Android or something. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
That would probably be a fun way to play it. Just like, oh, like I'm on a
Yeah, like you're on a
sitting
road
around
trip or something.
I'm
yeah.
bored or something. I'm going through the next like chapter of this thing or whatever. 'Cause
Yeah.
each route is maybe 15 minutes. If
Oh, that's
that.
not bad at all.
It's maybe even shorter.
Okay. Depending on how you play or if
Yeah.
you rush through shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was entertaining. And then
this next one I'm excited to hear you talk about.
yeah, Concrete Genie just came out. This is from Pixel Opus, who I think is a first-party studio, one of the smaller ones. An in-house Sony Interactive Entertainment developer located in San Mateo. The other big game they worked on was called Entwined. Oh, actually, I have played this. Yeah, it was like a rhythm game that was on PS3 Vita and PS4 as well. I think that was a fairly small experience, though. And I think a lot of their other work was just like as a support studio for some of the other first-party developers and stuff. Concrete Genie is their first game that's like it's a full game that they did completely themselves and everything.
Is it like a $40 game or is it?
It's $30.
Okay, that's not bad.
And I think currently it's on sale for like 10% off or whatever.
Damn.
I think by the time this goes live, the sale might be over.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just the one where it's just like a small discount for the first like week or whatever that's out. I had kind of sort of been looking forward to this just because I think we saw a trailer the first time, not at E3 because Sony wasn't at E3. Might have been either the first state of play they did or Gamescom.
Okay.
Might have been Gamescom last year or something. I can't remember exactly when we first saw it. But the idea of Concrete Genie is it's got a very cool art style, but you play as a boy who basically has this magic paintbrush and is able to paint his drawings to life.
So it's Chalk World.
I don't know. I never heard of Chalk World. Probably. I wouldn't doubt if it's something similar.
Chalk Zone?
Chalk Zone, I think it was, yeah.
So it's kind of like a puzzler, platformer kind of thing, but the platforming is not particularly involved. You're just like climbing up buildings and stuff like that, but they're very small. It's like to like grab a ledge of something and then pull yourself up. But the way that the game works is it's a lot of like painting, but you're not painting. You're painting with like a set of stickers and stuff. Like
So what you're saying? This is the spiritual successor to Mark Echo's Rise Up.
Never heard of that one either.
Okay, so what you're saying is this is the Dark Souls of painting game.
No, it's not difficult at all. It's not difficult. I was actually surprised that for most of the game there is no like violence or like act.
Yeah,
like,
I was about to say, like, are you fighting
combat
anything?
or anything?
Or?
No, not at all. That was what I thought was so interesting about, I'd say, the first 80% of the game.
Yeah,
is that there's nothing like that. Like you're exploring sections of this town. The
Just
whole idea is that
painting it,
some sort of magic darkness has taken over the town, and everyone's kind of like sad, and people are like,
and you're
moving
there
out
to
of
like
the town.
brighten it all back up and everything.
Yeah, and
I've seen screen caps of this, and I'm like, I kind of want to get this just to see how good it looks on like my TV.
it is very pretty.
Is it HDR?
It's not HDR,
Okay.
but playing it, you wouldn't know. Like
Right.
it's still colorful, especially on our TVs. Like even standard dynamic range stuff pops really well.
Yeah, it does.
And it does use its lighting very well. There are moments of it that kind of the animation of like the characters and stuff sort of remind me of those old Christmas movies like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and stuff like that.
Really?
Where it's kind of like the lower frame rate animation of like the mouths and stuff moving and everything. It was kind of almost off-putting at first, but I got really into it near the end of the game. And yeah, so you have individual zones in each area where you're trying to light them back up. So there's like lights hung up all over the different buildings and stuff. And as you paint under them, they light up. And then after you light up a whole zone, like the darkness clears away. A section that like opens up. Yeah, you're able to like progress into it, like another zone or whatever. And throughout you have like these genies, which is where the name comes from.
Yeah,
that are like drawings of his that he had in this little notebook. And at the beginning of the game, like the notebook scatters. So your collectibles are essentially like
his notebook,
different features of the genies that you've drawn. No, it's not card captors. I know what that is. It's not that.
See, that one I haven't heard of.
That's the one that you fucking know.
Of course.
It's good. They had a good
anime, man.
Good intro.
It's all about that anime. Yeah, so you're slowly collecting more and more genies, and your genies are kind of like, they help you do things. Like if you have like a fire genie, it can burn certain like flammable objects to open up paths, and there's one that's like a lightning one that can light up little
like,
control panels and
exactly.
stuff that like will move something or whatever. Just lots of exploring and just like making these little paintings and stuff, and it was just very
how long
like,
would you say it is?
Relaxing. If you really, really wanted to, you could sit down and like in a single sitting beat the game.
Really?
Like you could probably finish it in like 4 to 5 hours if you were just doing the main stuff and not looking around for every collectible thing or whatever. I think mine took a little longer because this was another one I went ahead and got the platinum for because it's fairly simple. All the first party Sony
I
stuff.
saw you post about it.
Oh, so it is like
easy to
beatable. It's not just like kind of a.
No, yeah, there's a story, and there's like 5 levels of this town or like areas and stuff, and there's a very clear endpoint, but it's also the type of game where after you're done with the story, you can go back in and they have like the free painting modes where you can go and do more painting and stuff.
Oh, that's neat.
Change up your genies and change like the way they look and their features and all that.
You know, that would have been cool if it had supported like VR, and then you can go in and use like the controllers.
It has a VR mode.
Really?
Yeah, but I've heard it's like it feels very tacked on.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to expand it later, but it like the whole VR mode you can do in like 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Even the trophies for it are like there's a separate VR trophy list. It's just like 3 trophies.
Oh, okay.
I haven't dabbled in that at all, but I've heard it's nothing to write home about.
Okay.
The game in general, as far as like the performance and everything, it performs fairly well. I didn't notice any gameplay frame drops, but like some of I noticed at the most of the very beginning cinematic of the game and the ending, where just things like stuttered a little bit, like the animations just weren't as smooth
weird.
as you'd think they would be.
Right.
It's a little off-putting, but I remember bothering me at the beginning, but then I stopped noticing it because I think it just went away, and then it cropped up again near the very end. It was odd. Resolution-wise, I know it has a 4K mode on PS4 Pro, and it's just a little button you can change in the settings menu, so you can do it in-game. You don't have to do anything like change the resolution on your console or anything. Didn't have any bugs. It overall was fairly
Fun.
nice experience.
Yeah.
The only issue I had was that the end of the game, and this is kind of spoilery, but I don't think it's going to affect your enjoyment. But the last, like I said, about 20% of the game is very odd. Like they throw a bunch of new mechanics at you all of a sudden and introduce combat, which kind of felt really antithetical to like the entire rest of the experience. Because I remember about an hour or two into this game, I was like, wow, a first-party studio game, and it like there's no fucking fighting. There's violence in the sense that like one of the mechanics of the game is that you're hiding away from like kids around town that are kind of like bullies,
right?
And it's like a gang of like 5 kids, and bullies is in like they'll push you down.
Exactly.
They'll try to take your brush away. They're not like kicking the shit out of you or anything.
I know what you meant. Yeah.
They're mean. It's like
that'd be really weird if like 80% through this game, you just like get punched in the nose or something.
It's like Goonies level violence,
Right.
essentially. And suddenly at the end of the game, you have like you can shoot fire from your brush and then lightning and wind, and you have to fight like dark genie things. And,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's just really weird. I think there should have been a better way that they were able to tie up this story. Like I feel like the last like quarter of the game or so was just really just odd. You don't paint anymore. Like the painting part's done.
So now you're just fighting these dark genies.
And
Third acts are hard.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
yeah. It was weird. That was like the part that was fairly off-putting, but I enjoyed the rest of the experience enough to, especially at the price point, to be like, oh yeah, this is worth picking up and giving it a try. It's just the end was kind of like, why would you do it that way?
Yeah,
definitely a fall game. I will say, like I liked it. The weather got a little cooler while I was playing this. I had like my window cracked open a little bit.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
nice and breezy in the room.
you had your nice hot apple cider.
Yeah, I spiced apple
disgusting.
cider and like just playing some concrete ginger, drawing some little pictures and stuff. It was entertaining.
Sounds nice.
The reason I was saying, like, I think you two specifically both would enjoy it just because it is like a more like kind of chill out, relax. You can even put some like music on in the background or something. Like,
How's the music in game?
I don't remember it. So
Well,
I'm gonna
that
say
says a lot about it.
just okay. I mean, I don't remember anything about it like sticking out as like being particularly interesting. Like the sound design and stuff is not like what
Draws you to
anything
the
that stuck
game.
me
Yeah.
out or stuck out to me. So I can't really comment on that. Now you say that, yeah, I can't think of anything to say about that
Nothing
part.
stuck me anywhere.
But yeah, no stickers, no pokies. But Concrete Genie, $30, PlayStation 4 exclusive.
Travis recommends it.
Open the windows, do some painting.
Yeah. So are we not doing a what's the score this week, or did you just not
Nothing
tell us
came
anything?
out.
Okay.
Nothing came out. Like
Code
this
Vein
is a
came out
weird.
last week.
It's the end of the generation. Things aren't. The fall's kind of light. You got a Call of Duty coming. We got some news on another game that's not coming out in the fall, so it's even lighter than it was previously. Pretty much everything has been like delayed till spring. So what used to be the fall is now going to be a really heavy February.
Oh
to
yeah,
April
February
of
next year
releases.
is insane.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII, the Persona 5,
Last
the
of
Royal,
Us.
The Last of Us Part 2. You
The
know
game we're
what?
gonna
How
talk
about
about
we get
later.
into the news? Because I'll go ahead and tell you the first delay.
News.
There we go. Doom Eternal has been delayed to March 2020.
I saw that.
Yeah, this got posted by the official Doom account on Twitter. We got a little write-up on here. Some good news hidden in here as well, though, but we'll let that come out in the statement. Throughout the development of Doom Eternal, our goal has been to deliver a game that exceeds your greatest expectations across the board. To make sure we're delivering the best experience for Doom Eternal to live up to our standards of speed and polish, we've made the decision to extend our launch date by a few months to March 20th, 2020. We know many fans will be disappointed by this delay, but we are confident that Doom Eternal will deliver a gaming experience that is worth the wait. In addition to shifting the Doom Eternal launch date, we've made a couple of other changes that we wanted you to know. Invasion mode, which will allow you to enter another player's game as a playable demon, Dark Soulsy, will release as a free update shortly after launch. Doesn't Dark Souls have the invasions?
Yeah,
and
it
stuff?
does.
Yeah, but just continue.
The Dark Souls of first-person shooters.
Dark Souls of Doom games.
Doom Eternal for Nintendo Switch will release after the other platforms. We will announce that date in the future.
Suck
Yeah,
it,
I'm not
Switch.
surprised about that. Well, that always happens with the Switch.
Suck it, Switch.
And Doom 64 will be available on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC in addition to the Nintendo Switch. We are
Damn.
adding Doom 64 as a pre-order bonus for Doom Eternal on all platforms, so you'll be able to download and play this classic game for free just for pre-ordering Doom Eternal for money. So it's not quite for free. I hate when they say that shit in these statements. Doom 64 will be released on March 20th, 2020 on all platforms. So even though it's coming out on Switch later, you're still going to get Doom 64 on March 20th if you pre-order on Switch. Is what I'm getting from that statement. But that's the first time we had official confirmation that Doom 64 was indeed coming to other platforms. Because so far, all we had seen was that announcement at the last Nintendo Direct that it was coming to Switch. And we were confused if that was maybe just because it's got 64 in the title and there's some sort of trademark issue with that. And if it was going to be rebranded or a different game entirely on the other platforms. So cool confirmation of that. I also did read in another tweet or another statement that you can buy Doom 64 separately. So it's not locked behind
the
pre-ordering.
paywall, yeah.
It's just free if you pre-order.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't it say it was coming out March 20th?
Well, coming out as but this statement again, it's just clarification because people were
that's what I got.
were curious if obviously it's coming out, you get to play it on March 20th, but not necessarily like can I also go to PlayStation Network and buy it separately on March 20th if I wanted it.
Yeah, that's
you
what I
can't.
got from that last sentence.
Well, not everyone out there is just able to read the tea leaves quite as well as our boy Ethan.
Those were the tea leaves I just drank.
So yeah, Doom 64 is coming later.
Cool.
Doom's coming later.
I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer. I kind of really wanted to play it this year, but don't kill your staff. So
I don't even know if they're killing the staff. I think because there's been some weird rumors about just the way things are going with the story and everything, and just the way the game's being made. And I think they're doing multiplayer in house this time, so that's adding to the development time.
did they not do it last time?
No, that was something they had outsourced. Because the multiplayer for Doom
I never
2016
played it,
or whatever
yeah.
sucks.
Does it?
It's just bare bones and deathmatch stuff. It's
Right.
clear that it was not made by the same team. I also really do not like the way the UI is right now. Have you seen any of the recent gameplay demos?
No, I have not.
You should look at it. The user interface looks gross. It's
Really?
just too much shit on the screen.
Okay.
There's just way too much going on. I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they're trying to go back to the drawing board with, that they've had a lot of complaints about the way that looks. Next up, we got an interesting little story about the Overwatch for the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
The physical edition of the game does not actually come with a game cartridge in the box. It's just like a download code.
It's
that's
yeah,
gonna
they're
be in there.
Fortniting it.
Yeah, exactly. Does Fortnite even have it?
Yes.
Oh, it did the same
Yes.
thing? Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of makes sense because it's one of those games that it just has so many updates anyway.
Right.
But why give it a box? Why not just sell it as like a card?
Well,
Because people still like their physical cases.
I think it's that, but more
I
than
think
that,
they
I
like
think
the
it's a marketing
cartridge.
thing. It's that you want to be able to see it as on the shelf next to, Zelda, next to these other big Mario games or Donkey Kong or whatever. If it's a little card, then it gets shuffled off into the section where all the gift cards are. And
But
shit.
I feel like obviously the cartridge is the important part, not the box.
Yeah, I mean,
the CD.
I'm talking
the
about for
physical.
parents and stuff that are going to buy the game, and again, the window shoppers. And
Sure.
To me, it's one of those things that it makes sense. I get that, right now, you can't make a game like Overwatch on that platform and not put it in a store, and it needs to be next to the other games. That's just how it works. And I get from a technical perspective why even pay for the cartridge, because the second you plug that thing in, it's gonna have some fucking seasonal Halloween update that goes on there.
Counter
And-
offer.
What's up?
Because people want it.
No, I know, but do you just want an empty cartridge that points to the download and does it that way?
I want
Like
a cartridge that when I put it in, it downloads the game.
That's what I'm saying. But
Isn't that what? Isn't that technically what like our CDs do for PlayStation?
no, the cartridges on the Switch, like they play off the cartridge.
Yeah.
You don't. It doesn't like our discs on the PlayStation. They copy and install the game to the system.
Yeah.
That's not what a Switch cartridge does. It works like your Game Boy. Like when you play a Game Boy game, you're not installing the game to your Game Boy. It's on the cartridge. What I'm saying is this is such a live game that has so many updates anyway. You're going to have to download.
Yeah, I get that. That's why I'm saying
amount of patches.
That's why I
anyway.
like. I mean, I'm not
And
calling
it's the same
it
if
my
you-
idea, but
when you put
have
Overwatch on the
cartridge.
PS4, it still downloads the entire
Yeah,
game.
you're right. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
The
Like,
disc isn't done. Doesn't
you
do
still
anything.
get your cartridge with the little Overwatch picture on it or whatever the fuck they want. I guess.
that was
and
what
then
I
it
was asking.
downloads it.
Do you
and
just
then
want
you
an
just
empty cartridge that just is like a thing that's like a download code? It says, "Hey, this is the physical copy," but
I
it's
mean,
actually
no,
there's no game data on
I
it.
don't want the code. I don't want to have to type in the code on the card. I want the cartridge to still download it for me.
Yeah.
But then I take the cartridge out and put it on the shelf and never touch it again.
Well, because the big thing for Switch owners
But it still needs the little picture on it.
is
you
that
know?
the physical copy has the benefit of you don't have to have a whole lot of space taken up an install.
True,
Because
yeah,
you have
yeah,
the expandable storage. You only have 32 gigs on the internal.
Yeah.
And so that's
Unless you
where
get, like, a-
that's why they even have like on all the Switch games. I don't know how many physical Switch games you've looked at and stuff. They all have like that note on there that says either, "Hey, this requires
Yeah.
like a significant download or whatever." Like I think like NBA 2K was the first one where it's like you plug the thing in, you still have to download like a 10 gigabyte patch or some
Oh,
shit,
okay.
which is like half of your internal storage or close to it. Yeah. So it's there so that you know, oh well, I need to have an SD card if I'm going to play this game. But this is one where day one you're going to have a 10 gigabyte patch because new characters are there, new maps get
Maps,
loaded in,
modes, yeah.
all the new user interface changes, every time there's a new season, huge download. So it does make sense to me from Blizzard's perspective of why waste money on this cartridge when it's like it's not actually.
Oh, I mean, I
it's
get
not
it.
saving you internal storage.
I
or
get
anything.
it. Yeah.
But-
But people still like the cartridge.
And I mean, we also have all that news now that like 50% or more of digital sales, or I mean, of sales for video games now are digital.
Yeah.
We've hit that inflection point where eventually this won't be necessary,
People
but
are lazy.
for now,
Shocker.
it's not laziness.
No,
it's that
it's convenience.
It's convenience. Yeah.
Convenience. I'm not kidding. You know what?
I wouldn't say
Are
it's
you
an
going to
argument.
say convenience is lazy?
You know what? You guys are right. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Indeed, yeah. Fuck Blizzard, man.
I actually did.
Freedom for Hong Kong.
You actually did fuck Blizzard?
No, I did. Yeah, I fucked Blizzard. Yeah. No, I uninstalled Overwatch and Battle last night.
I had to. I just realized I haven't played it. I
Yeah,
need to-
well, that too.
I had to
Also,
delete it on
I'm
my
Sure
PS4.
showed them.
I did, man. I put my foot down.
Yeah, you sure showed them.
They'll see it.
They'll know.
They'll go and they'll be like, "Where's Andrew been? Andrew hasn't been here in a while."
Yeah.
And they'll see it and they'll be like,
Hey, we miss you,
Single
buddy.
tier.
Yeah.
Next up, I'm going a little out of order, boys. I
Okay.
know I'm keeping you on your toes.
Ooh.
You know, let's just dive right into the big one.
Okay.
The PlayStation 5 is real.
Yep.
It exists. It is a real thing. That's the official name. We were just talking about this like a week or two ago, I think, about how technically Sony's been kind of like tiptoeing around. Oh, it's the next gen PlayStation. They hadn't really given it a name.
Yeah.
It's officially the PlayStation 5.
Of course it would be.
Sony did another deep dive look with Wired.com. This is the same way they revealed the PlayStation 5 the first time they talked about it when they were talking about the new SSD and all that stuff and backwards compatibility and how the new console was going to go.
Well, isn't that whenever they were showing off like how good the new Spider-Man runs on it?
Yeah. They didn't show that in the article, but that was one of the things they referenced where they
Right.
were like, "Oh, here was we saw."
Did you see that leaked video though? Of how
Yes, I did.
It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's very cool what they're doing. There's a couple of new little tidbits of information we got from this little breakdown. This is a long article, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. Feel free to look it up, like at Wired.com, PlayStation 5. You'll find
see
it
it
right away.
Yeah.
But the three biggest things that they noted when talking about this was right off the bat, Mark Cerny clarified a couple of statements they had made when they had the first reveal when they were talking about ray tracing support on PlayStation 5. That there was kind of some speculation, I think undue speculation, because I think at this point, ray tracing is no longer just a buzzword. It's clear. We've seen very clear instances of what it's for, the difference it has in games like Control and Metro Exodus.
Yeah.
It's not just a thing to put on the box where it's like, oh, it's a graphical feature that you're never going to see the difference of. Like, there are clear visual differences when using this technology, when
Yeah.
doing it right. Stuff like Battlefield 5, where like you can see in a puddle someone like running around the corner because it's being reflected in a way that in previous like technologies could not do. It just was impossible to do it. And he went ahead and clarified that the ray tracing solution is in fact hardware based. What that means is that it's not software running on the CPU the same way like a game is. It's actually a dedicated portion of the graphics processor in the PlayStation 5 will handle ray tracing operations the same way that NVIDIA's RTX lines of cards do.
I would hope
so.
The
2080s.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, from just an obvious point, like
precisely.
Sense.
That's why I was saying the speculation was kind of undo.
You know, you build a car, it runs one way just because you upgrade the computer system that, you know, makes the lights go on. It's not going to run any faster. If it was a software solution, it clearly would limit a lot like what the actual implementations would be. It being hardware based means that we could see stuff similar to the real time reflections and shit that we saw in Control and everything. Well, this might even just be a dumb question. Could software ever be more or higher? What's the word I'm trying to think of? More advanced,
more performative
than the hardware. Like
typically,
that wouldn't make sense, right?
A lot of times what the difference comes from, the hardware can't achieve a certain effect that we're looking for, so we wrote a software that will do it. The best way to get more performance is for it to be done on a hardware level.
Right.
Because that means the hardware itself, you're not feeding it software, you're saying, hey, microwave, do this thing.
Yeah.
Do the popcorn. You know the popcorn is 130 instead of me having to push in the timer that says 130.
Exactly.
So it's a quicker way of achieving the same operations when you can do it on a hardware level.
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah, exactly. We still don't know what that means as far as like how extensive, how strong the hardware will be. Obviously, it's probably not going to be the same as the NVIDIA, the high-end graphics cards right now. That's rarely how it works out for consoles. But on the other hand, we do have every once in a while that generation where some sort of console hardware, because of the fact that it's made to be so performative, because it has to be optimized to work on this kind of software, that it can do something more than what a PC could do. It's been a long time since we saw that. I would say probably around with the PS2, that was a big deal with like the Emotion engine. Like there were things that console could do that like a
high-end PC
even the
couldn't
absolutely
even do.
highest end PC, the hardware just wasn't designed to do the same things that like the Emotion engine in the PS2 was. So who knows? Just a light clarification that it is hardware based. That's a big deal. And what was the other big one? I know they talked about, they confirmed that the PS5 was going to have a 4K Blu-ray player in it.
Nice.
Which was a big deal, that kind of a shocker when the PS4 Pro didn't come with one, even though the Xbox One X and the Xbox One S both play 4K Blu-rays.
Even the S?
Yes, that was why I bought one originally, because it was the cheapest 4K Blu-ray player you could get when that whole thing
I think I remember you telling me that whenever you first bought it.
Yeah, because most of the 4K Blu-ray players were all like $500, $600, and you could get the low-end Xbox One S for like $250.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, yeah, it was a no-brainer, like if you just wanted something to throw in your living room to handle that. They also confirmed that PS5 games are going to use 100 gigabyte optical discs, which are the high-end for what you can... What
put
4K
on
Bluray movies come on.
So games are going to be like $70.
No, that doesn't necessarily mean that the disc is more expensive. I'm still of the
mind
we might see
it's more expensive to use it.
What do you mean?
Like they have to pass that cost on to somewhere. You don't think they're going to charge it towards the consumer?
The disc costs maybe 2 cents more than a standard Blu-ray.
You said high end. You can't toss around.
I mean, high end is in like
master race buzzwords.
No, I didn't mean high end is in. I just meant like the low end of 4K Blu-rays is they use standard 50 gigabyte discs. I just meant from like how much storage they hold.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you.
But everybody's as smart as you are, Travis.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that everyone was so dumb.
Sorry.
I just didn't understand.
Y'all's lover squirrels are cute.
Sorry.
Now, an issue though that we are going to be coming up with is just how big games are, because they have already confirmed that solid state storage is what's going to be in the console. That's still the gap is closing, but it's still a lot more expensive than a hard drive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially for the size you can get. So the rumors are right now that it's going to be a 1 terabyte solid state drive.
Okay.
Which is the same as what comes in a PS4 Pro now. So the size is the same.
But the games are bigger.
If your standard AAA game is 100 gigabytes,
that thing's going to go up quick. You can only fit like 10 games on there.
Yeah, if you consider
that's
like
perfect for me.
I know, Ethan's like beautiful. That's 2 more than I have installed now.
That forces everybody to buy a game, play it, and then...
Well, first you got to buy a game, Ethan.
Yeah, if they're $70.
I would not be
Hey
surprised
man,
if
he
it
can't
goes
buy
up.
a game right now. He's got to play Classic WoW.
$69.99.
I could see it.
Dire Maul comes out next week. No, wait. Fuck. Dire Maul comes out today?
I don't know what that means.
Tomorrow?
Neither do I.
That's fine.
Ethan, how much have you spent on Apex Legends?
This month?
Have you spent more than $70 on Apex Legends?
This month.
Ever. Total. Cumulative.
Probably.
Yeah, so I think you'll be okay if you have to pay $69.99. Would
like
it be easier?
It's a good game.
Would it be easier for them if you like went to Best Buy and Naughty Dog was like, "Hey, your next PS5 game, it's 6 easy payments
Of $15?
like $14.99 or whatever."
Just take it out of my PlayStation account.
Yeah, there you go. Just sign up for the Last of Us 2 subscription.
A layaway plan?
Yeah, we'll lay away
On
your
PlayStation
$70
Network.
game. That's all you need.
$7.99 for 36 weeks.
Yeah, so games could be getting bigger, but something else that they had mentioned in this article was they used Spider-Man as an example, that certain files in the game were duplicated like up to 200 times on the disk to make it easier for the hard drive seeking
To find it?
Yeah, like so if you have multiple copies,
I
then the
get
hard
it.
drive doesn't have to seek as often to get to what you're loading.
Because it can find it
So is
more
that why?
often.
Is that why in that video, like everything was loading so quick?
I don't know if that's why. I mean, partly it was probably because that section was just it's something that they
They had been
fine-tuned
working
that
on,
demo
yeah,
for
exactly.
the PS5. But it does mean that maybe some of these games, especially these open world ones, aren't going to have to duplicate assets as
They'll
much.
dial it back.
which could help shrink the file size. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
While say Watch Dogs 3 might be a 70 gigabyte game on PS4, you could be looking at something that's maybe 40 to 50 on the PS5 version because they don't have to duplicate as much stuff.
Okay.
So it remains to be seen. There is going to have to be some sort of solution because something else to consider is that if all these games are designed now where the solid state drive is like your baseline, like a lot of games have been designed, even the PC side of games have been designed keeping in mind that there's a subset of people that are going to be using a hard drive. So they can't make the game to specifically take it full advantage of a solid state drive because then that would mean that game runs really great on there. And then you've got like 5-minute load times if you want to do it on a hard drive. Now that solid state drives are going to be the baseline
Standard, yeah.
it's possible. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's going to be interesting to see how can we have expandable storage at that point. Because right now you run out of space on your PS4, you can go to Walmart, you can buy an 8 terabyte external hard drive and plug it into USB.
Yep.
This solid state drive is a proprietary storage method because Sony's already gone out of the way to say it's faster than any solid state drive that exists on the market today. Like,
Jesus.
including like the highest of
Big
the high
flex.
end
Yeah, really.
PC parts. Like you cannot buy a solid state drive as fast as
Is what we're putting in the
as
PS5.
the way it's working on
Well,
PS5 right now.
Yeah, right now.
Now, when the PS5 comes out, yeah, exactly. I know that we've got like PCIe. Before,
They're always working on the next
nerd
one.
lingo. Yeah,
Yeah.
PCIe 4 is going to be around the corner.
Okay.
Once that happens,
They've already, they'll
that
already
might be what Sony's doing now. Is like their in-house version of what PCIe 4 will be. It's just a way to say, hey, it's fast as fuck.
No, guys, it stops
But
here.
if it's that
This is as fast as they're gonna get.
if it's that fast and it's that proprietary, how am I going to, if
Make
I
it-
do need more space, add another terabyte, add another 2, 4, 8 terabytes for these big ass games? Because a hard drive, like you can't do a normal hard drive anymore.
Bring into maybe?
Oh, really? So they're not going to let you be able to
that's
do
what I'm
it?
saying. If every game is designed to run on the SSD,
Oh, okay.
and you plug in an external hard drive,
It would just wouldn't work.
it's not
No,
going
I
to
don't
be your
know-
super fast
I don't know
Spider-Man game.
much.
Oh, right.
I don't know much about like SES whatever solid state drives and how easy they are to interchange them or something. But maybe that might be like their next kind of accessory they look into is their own sort of this is extra storage with our logo on it.
Which would suck ass because
would.
that's what the Vita did, and
It
it
really
killed it.
would suck ass, but
That's one of the things that killed the Vita. Was
But
that
also, I want to
you
go
have
back
this
to your
proprietary
point
storage
where
because it's
you were
expensive.
kind of giving this compromise with graphics and cost and everything like that and parts. But I think it's a business at the end of the day, and they have like a marketing team that works in with their development department. It's probably pricing with their costs. It's probably going to be about the same. Whether maybe we end up paying $5 more for stuff throughout the whole entirety of it. Because, they've reached a nice point with everything cost wise, how much we're willing to pay for whatever.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep it kind of around the same range.
I think they have to. I
yeah.
mean, these are questions they're going to have an answer for before the system launches and not after. Because these are questions people are going to be asking. Like, I'd say even your average 10-year-old nowadays has had a point at some time in their PlayStation
Where they
4
have to
or
delete
Xbox life
something.
cycle
Yeah.
where Fortnite wants to update. It says I don't have enough space. Everyone's got a smartphone.
I don't know many
They take
10-year-olds.
pictures. They record videos. You run out of storage on there.
That happened on
we've
my
got
Switch the other
iCloud.
day.
Yeah, like it's just. I think it's in the forefront of people's minds, maybe more than it was at the beginning of this generation.
Oh, it's absolutely like a
People
thought,
know they have
yeah.
data caps. They know that they're paying for unlimited data on their phones and shit.
Yeah, sure. And after you buy a couple of, like you said, those really big, hefty games,
Yeah.
like The Last of Us 2 or whatever for the PS5.
Which is another one that game is going to
Yeah.
be 2 Blu-ray discs, so we know it's going to be around 100 gigs.
Yeah, and maybe you get another couple, and then you realize this is adding up.
I think we've had enough of those questions this generation where people are going to be like, "Oh, it has a terabyte." The back of this box says this game requires 100 gigs of space.
I will say
that's easy math. That's 10 games or
when
so.
I did upgrade to the Pro, it was much less of a concern at the rate I go, at least.
Well, yeah, because you went from a 500 gig hard drive to a 1 terabyte.
Yeah.
You doubled up.
Yeah,
This
and
is
I
going to
also
be
am very, I keep my list very small, kind of.
But I'm looking at the people that are like maybe on my side of it, where it's like I have a 1 terabyte drive inside, I have another 2 terabyte drive plugged in externally, and I still every once in a while have to delete something. And it's not that big a deal because now my internet's fast enough where it's like your problem. I can
Yeah,
just
you used to
delete it,
so much
re-download
stuff,
stuff. It's easier for me now. But a lot of the country is not like that.
What are you
still.
holding on to? Like, just
I got games I'm gonna play. I got things that I'm gonna play. It's there, so when I want to play it, I
there.
don't have to wait 5
I guess
minutes.
as an American, you have that one.
Exactly, I do. One of the other things he was talking about in this interview was the new user interface changes, and a couple of those involve. Well, we're talking about storage. Quoting the Wired article, however, game installation, which is mandatory given the speed difference between the solid state drive and the optical
I don't
drive,
like that. Don't force that on me.
will be it's been forced on you this entire generation. Will be a bit different than on PS4. This time around, aided in part by simplified game data possible with the solid state drive, Sony is changing its approach to storage, making for a more reasonable installation. I'm sorry, more configurable installation. I don't know where I got reasonable from. And removal process. Quote, rather than treating games like a big block of data, we're allowing finer grained access to the data. That could mean the ability to install just a game's multiplayer campaign, leaving the single player campaign for another time, or just installing the whole thing and then deleting the single player campaign once you've installed or finished it. Regardless of what parts of the game you choose to install and play, you'll be able to stay abreast of it via a completely revamped user interface. PS4's bare bones home screen at times feels frozen in amber. You can see what your friends have recently done or even what game title they might be playing at the moment, but without launching an individual title, there's no way to see what single-player missions you could do or what multiplayer matches you can join. Quote, even though it will be fairly fast to boot games, we don't want the player to have to boot the game, see what's up, boot the game, see what's up. Multiplayer game servers will provide the console with the set of joinable activities in real time. Single-player games will provide information like what missions you could do and what rewards you might receive for completing them, and all of those choices will be visible in the UI. As a player, you can just jump right into whatever you like. So what he's saying there is like from your home screen, you can like hover over the icon for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, immediately see Ethan's playing deathmatch here, and then here's his video. Like you could watch a stream of him doing that right there.
Jesus.
He's at this position on the leaderboard. He's been playing for this much time.
Yeah.
If you join in a multiplayer match, here's your reward you might get for doing it. It's like all the stuff you see in like the Apex home screen or whatever.
But now you can just like
directly
hover over the icon.
It'll
and
be
you can see
directly
it.
in the user interface. Yeah.
Wow.
And all of that, of course, is going to be dependent on the developer and what they choose to put there and whatnot. But it sounds like they're going to have a lot more options for what they can put in that little section.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know that I care so much, just because I don't like. Usually, if I want to play a game, I'm the type where it's like, ooh, I know what I want to play before I even turn on my console. If it's rare that I'm like scrolling through and I'm like, oh, I can get this checkbox complete. Cool, I'll hop into this game for a couple minutes and like I think I know what I want to do beforehand. But it's weird actually that they're talking about the UI like that so ahead of time and before instead of just like showing it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing with the Wired exposés on the PlayStation are kind of odd. Like we haven't actually seen any videos of the console or anything yet, and there hasn't been like an actual PlayStation event reveal like they did for the PS4. I assume we'll see one in like March or something, maybe.
Maybe it doesn't have like a box yet.
No, yeah, the design of the console's not done. I just mean like a video, like that user interface idea. It seems better. Like show us a mock-up, but like in the article, like have a screen cap of what the UI looks like to show it better that way. Maybe it's a little too soon for that. Maybe all that's still being worked on. But it's weird to go into detail about that kind of stuff when you haven't like made it to a point where we could even show a picture of what it looks like. So who knows how much of this is even going to be there day one. Because if y'all remember, it's probably been a while since you've seen a game that actually does this right. But the beginning of this generation was the one where they were going to start pushing a lot of the play as you download thing. Where like you'll download the game, it'll be like,
partially,
time until ready to play. It'll download like the first portion of it, and then you can jump in, start playing the game.
Yeah.
It'll download the rest in the background. Rarely do games even bother with that anymore.
I see it every once in a while.
Exactly. Every once in a while, but like that was such a big, hey, this is the big new feature for this next generation. That we hardly see it.
Yeah, I never use it. Anytime I see that, I'm just like, I'm just going to wait till this
I'd rather
downloads.
wait. Yeah, because there's plenty of games where it'd say that, and then it's just like, it opens up the game to a screen that says, hey, we're still installing.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually let you do anything, so it's like, what's the point? They talked a little bit about the controller, which will probably be the DualShock 5.
Yeah.
And one of the features that they were talking about was the adaptive triggers. They can offer varying levels of resistance to make, as an example, shooting a bow and arrow feel like the real thing.
Oh.
The intention increasing as you pull the arrow back.
Yeah.
Or make a machine gun feel different than a shotgun. So like different, literally like amounts of force required to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Like in real time. And
So like, say like hunting in The Last of Us 2, and Ellie pulls out her bow, and the trigger would like resist as you like pull back.
Yeah. And probably require more force to hold it down versus just doing a quick pull or something.
I could see that being cool, but I could also see that being kind of annoying.
It depends, yeah. It's funny too because they've dabbled in stuff like that before with like the PS2 controller because it actually had those pressure sensitive buttons.
Really?
Yeah, they ditched it with PS3, I believe, but yeah, like an example was on like Metal Gear Solid 2. If the button that you use to either like choke someone out or whatever, if you're just lightly holding it down, you're holding them, and then if you push it all the way, you'll start to actually like
choke them out,
choke them out, and like knock them out that way. And then same with the triggers on the gun, like the lighter the sensitivity was, the more slowly he'd pull the trigger.
Okay.
And I think in the Gran Turismo games, it was the same thing where you could speed up or slow down depending on how hard you're pushing the button, the trigger for that.
Okay.
So they dabbled in stuff like this before, but I think this sounds pretty cool. It's another feature where it's like, is it only going to be first party games that use this, or is this something?
How easier can like third party apps do this?
Well, Xbox have a version of this as well, so like every Call of Duty game going forward has something similar. We'll see. They were also talking about how there's a lot more haptic feedback in this controller that sounds like it's going to be similar to like the Switch's HD Rumble, where you're going to be able to feel more specifically like what is actually like if you're riding a horse, like it's going to, instead of just like a generic vibration, you might feel like the click clack of the hooves, like the left side of the controller, the right one, the right side, or the back or the front or whatever. So haptic feedback, good stuff. Everybody likes haptic feedback. Do you like when you press a button on your phone, it kind of vibrates under your finger?
A little bit, yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
I like that feedback.
Ethan's looking all cute, all snuggled up over there.
Cold. Feels good. Cold and feels real good. There's also a little like hole on the controller somewhere that's supposedly going to be a microphone. They didn't talk too much about that on here, but there was a patent that came out recently from Sony that's going to be some sort of like voice assistant on the PlayStation.
As long as it's like strictly for the UI and they don't like implement it in the games or anything.
I don't know. I could see it being implemented in games.
Yeah, I hate that because I remember when I had a DS. The DS had a microphone, and playing certain games would require you to like yell or like blow into it or something like that. And you're just like you're the asshole fucking on the bus, just like just
blow on it. Just blow on it.
Yeah, just blow.
Yeah, just blow, bro.
Blow, bro. I kind of like the idea of having the voice assistant. I love my Google Home. Your Alexa
PlayStation,
sucks.
like the PS4 already does kind of have like a voice assistant,
but it's like really basic voice commands. This is supposedly this could be something more on the level of like a Siri.
Okay.
Or like is that a Google? Like
yeah,
Google
you could
Assistant.
like go up, boot up your PlayStation, and be like, "Hey, PlayStation, what's the weather?" You know?
Yeah, or send Ethan a message. LOL, you suck. Smiley face. Get good.
Tongue butthole.
Tongue your butthole. Oh, here we go. So they were talking about a demo that was shown to Wired. They had a dev kit that they brought with them with a version of Gran Turismo Sport running on it. And they used that to demo the haptic feedback of the controller. And they gave the example here, but driving on the border between the track and the dirt, you could feel the difference between both surfaces on the controller at the same time. The new controller is going to have a USB Type-C connection.
Okay.
So that's always good. Fast charging.
Yeah. Because what are these? These are...
It's a micro
USB.
mini or whatever the fuck you call it. I don't remember.
So so the
it'll have
micro
like USB
USB doesn't do fast charger?
No.
Okay.
No, this one will though. And they're also going to have a larger capacity battery
Oh, that's nice.
which is very nice.
Yeah.
Because the battery not that great.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because
on the
how many?
PS4.
What's the standard hours you think you get out of these?
4 or 6.
4?
25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. No, it
Nice.
honestly, it's not too bad because like I said, I have that charging station where I can just like plop one
Yeah,
off.
I
and
got
I
the same
keep
one.
mine like at a strict, it turns off every 10 minutes, and I'm still charging mine all the time, I feel like.
Wasn't I at your apartment not long ago and I wanted to like turn off the controller and you didn't want me to because you're like, the system will turn it off on its own. And I was like, but I could just turn it off manually now. And it was just one of your weird Ethan moments where you just like wouldn't let me turn off the controller. Or I think I wanted to put the console in rest mode or something. Or
No, Travis, it'll do it by itself.
was it, do you charge your controller while the system's off? Do you plug it in to charge?
I think it charges for like 30 minutes, and then it stops charging it after you turn the
Yeah, so you have the USB powered to turn off after 30?
Yeah.
Why not 4 hours?
Because I don't know. Wouldn't that? I don't know. I just don't.
I don't remember. It was just a weird moment where I was like, why would you do it that way? You're like, shut up, leave me alone.
Does that? Because I don't want my PS4 working overtime. I don't know. Like what? I don't know.
It's in rest mode.
If it's still resting, but it's got to do a job, is it really resting?
Yeah. It's like Goku.
Half
where
resting?
when he can't keep up Super Saiyan Blue, so he just goes down to regular Super Saiyan and fights like that. Because like even when he's in regular Super Saiyan, he's still calm enough.
I don't think the
that he's
PlayStation
regaining
4
enough.
is even like Super Saiyan.
It is.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right.
PS5 is Super Saiyan Blue.
I trust you.
What else do we got here? Still talking about the SSD. Yeah, I think those were the big ones. Yeah, so that's PlayStation 5.
Go out and get one.
Oh, and
Yep.
probably should have mentioned this. They did confirm it's coming out holiday 2020. So
Dope.
please look forward
That's
to
next
it.
year.
It is next year.
It's a whole year away.
It's like a year away.
Yeah. What is this shitty controller I'm looking at?
It's the Google Stadia controller.
Magugula?
It's like a mix between the PlayStation and the Xbox controller.
Magugula?
Next up, Google Stadia is on a collision course with broadband caps, study shows. This is from Carl Bode over at Vice.com. With game streaming service Google Stadia dropping next month, a new study suggests that 6 million gamers are about to get a crash course on the problems with broadband usage caps. Was that, Ethan? You have doubts that 6 million people are going to do Google Stadia? That number sounds a little high to me personally, but we'll see. Maybe the pre-order numbers are good. I don't know. Maybe there's a bunch of dum-dums out there pre-ordering this stupid Google Stadia Pro thing before they've even had a chance to try it. Broadband caps are, if you didn't know, complete nonsense. There's no technical reason for them to exist, and they don't actually help internet service providers manage network congestions. Experts say the real purpose of such limits is to covertly jack up your already expensive broadband bill and punish customers looking to cut the cord on traditional cable TV services. Google's new Stadia streaming service is about to shine a light on the unfairness of such limits. The service, which eliminates the local console by streaming all games from the cloud, will consume as much as 15.75 gigabytes per hour at 4K resolution. With US monthly broadband caps as low as 150 gigabytes in many regions, you can start to see the problem. A new study by broadband availability tracking firm Broadband Now found that 6 million of the country's 34 million gamers will exceed their broadband caps using Stadia. ISPs impose usage caps as high as 1 terabyte and then sock you with an additional surcharges for extra bandwidth consumed. Needless to say, that gets expensive quickly. Quote, our survey findings point to a potential disconnect between consumers and the services they use, showing that our transition into game streaming nirvana may be a bumpier one than many expect. According to data from the NPD Group, America's estimated 30 million gamers play 22 hours per week on average. Where are you guys sitting in there? Would you say 22 hours per week on Apex?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yep.
3 hours a day, maybe?
3 hours a day?
Playing video games? Not necessarily Apex, just...
Video
15
games.
a week?
It's probably,
shy of the
that's probably
22.
about what I get to, you know. You're coming up, it's going to be a lot more.
Were those gamers to all shift to Stadia as their primary game platform at 4K, they'd burn through roughly 1,386 gigabytes of data monthly.
Great Scott!
And that's just the bandwidth consumed by gaming. It doesn't include music and video streaming or other activities. The result will be an even higher broadband bill for U.S. consumers who already pay some of the highest prices in the developed world for bandwidth. For many, this will be a surprise. Of the 943 gamers surveyed by the company, only 17% were certain they had a broadband cap. 21% say they weren't sure one way or another whether their broadband was metered. So to me, that just says they all probably have caps. Just most of them maybe haven't hit it quite yet. They'd find out real quick that first month if they've got one and what it is.
15 gigabytes an hour.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean,
yeah, if you're going to stream like Destiny 2 at 4K, it makes sense. But still, that's
any game. That's the thing. It could be something it could be Tetris at 4K. Like it's a video stream no matter what.
Right.
So it's the resolution. Of course, complexity can affect how much data is needed to stream it and stuff. But that's probably going to be around the average. And I think it's about half that for like Netflix 4K, just because the bit rates are a bit lower because video can compress a little more easily because it's not as dynamic.
Okay.
Like when you have a video, like this frame will always look like this frame.
Yeah.
Whereas a video game, you could have jumped left, you could have jumped right.
It's constantly changing.
So there's not as much room to optimize how small you can get those videos. So it's always going to be a lot bigger streaming these videos like this. Quote, ISPs have a strong history of staying ahead of consumer trends. And if you look at the history of data caps in those small number of markets, the trend over time when music streaming and downloading became popular, especially in the early days when it was not necessarily legitimate, data caps moved up. And then with the evolution of TV and film streaming, data caps moved up again, and we expect that will continue to be the case. Other analysts are basically saying that over time, they might, if this really does become a big enough thing, that they'll start increasing those caps as it goes, because I read some study not long ago that was basically like all of these ISPs and like telephone companies and stuff, they want to try to get everyone on average paying $150 a month.
Really?
Whether it's between, you only have cell service through them, so let's try to get you an unlimited plan or whatever. Or if, you have AT&T for your cell phone plan and your internet, and they'll be like, we'll bundle it together, help save you money, but you still end up paying around $150 a month or whatever. That's like the sweet spot. They try to get everybody.
Right.
So they'll probably ease up on the caps a little bit as this goes, but it's still bullshit, like I said.
Well, yeah. Caps have no reason to exist.
But the article continues, but that's not necessarily actually true. Most ISPs see little competition in their markets. Therefore, there's little to no incentive to raise caps or stop hammering consumers with suspicious surcharges. As a result, many caps haven't risen much in the last decade. AT&T's 150 gigabyte monthly DSL cap and $10 per 50 gigabyte overage fees, for example, were imposed in 2011 and haven't moved since. And I think that's what we had before I upgraded my internet, because I was paying a $30 a month fee for unlimited data on an internet connection, which is already absurd.
Really?
Yeah. This was just nice because I hadn't actually seen the per hour data cost of this. And yeah, it's another negative and a long list of cons for Google Stadia that I think people just aren't thinking of. But at the same time, I'm still not hearing a whole lot of people really care. You've got a couple of diehard fans that are like subscribed to their subreddit or whatever, but I'm still not seeing articles all over the place about people being excited for Google Stadia.
No,
like
yeah, and even then, like he says, some people just aren't paying attention to this, and yeah, whenever because it sounds like a great deal, like, hey, just get this controller and a Chromecast, and you can play all these great games and everything like that.
Yeah,
and then that data cap limit's going to be real, and even then, like people for like live in the Midwest or something like that, like their internet's not nearly as great as like people who live on the coast.
Oh, absolutely. And you think that'd be a benefit for some of those people, because in areas where it's further to drive out to go to a store where you can buy
go get a game or something, you could just stream it from home.
If at least the internet was nice, then yeah, you could stream it or whatever, but it's just not that way yet. Mm-hmm. And I laughed so hard the other day because one of the bigger proponents of Google Stadia I've seen was Greg Miller over at Kinda Funny.
Yeah, he's super about it.
But he posted something on Twitter the other day where he was at a hotel trying to stream remote play or something from his PS4, and the hotel's internet shit out on him.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, because his big thing is, it's going to be so great when I can take my Google Stadia Chromecast thing and go play like Assassin's Creed on my hotel TV. Mm-hmm. And my first thought in the back of my head is like,
no way the internet
is garbage. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're selling like one shitty speed internet connection that you're splitting between like 50 rooms.
Yeah.
It's always bad.
I've heard there's like tricks for it, and you can like ask them sometimes, but I really don't know.
That's what I want to do when I have my easy to plug and play Google Stadia, is have to go and find the trick for each hotel I'm at.
Right.
And have to find the right representative who even knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah, because most of the time,
with my internet,
some help desk is just going to be like, hey, can I get fast internet? And they're just like, no.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just so weird because Google Stadia, it's out in November for the,
is it that soon?
The Founders package. Wow. Yeah, but that's the Founders one that's like $130 for the controller and 3 months of Pro.
Oh, okay.
They still haven't said any pricing, or release date for the standard one, like that's free where you don't pay for the Founders pack.
Okay.
They still haven't announced that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like communication's been kind of weird. You'd think at this point there almost would have been like a Best Buy or something, like some sort of like show floor demo. Like we're a month out from this thing supposed to be launching. There hasn't been some event where like, hey, go try out Google Stadia in your town.
Yeah.
Just to to show people and get the word out and start talking about it. Well, the closer we get to this, it's more and more seeming like just one of those Google projects that they kind of like
trying out,
back away from, and then we stop talking about it.
Oh, like Google Glasses?
Google Glass. Yeah, exactly. Can't buy Google Glass anymore. That kind of didn't work out.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up, this is like kind of a late breaking story that just got announced today. Volition, they did all the different Saints Row games. They had a Saints Row 2 11th anniversary stream on Twitch today. During the stream, one of the developers said that they found the PC source code for the original outsourced port, and now they have that source code. They are patching the game, and it's going to be basically a whole new release of the game. Like it's getting a new release ID and everything. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be free for anyone that owns the game already on Steam. And the fixes and updates include Steamworks support for multiplayer. So this was one of those older games that used GameSpy back when that was still a thing.
What is that?
GameSpy was like a multiplayer service backend for games like in the mid 90s to early 2000s.
Okay.
This was like pre-Steam days.
Okay.
This is from Wikipedia. GameSpy was a provider of online multiplayer and matchmaking middleware for video games. The company originated from a Quake fan site, and let's see. Oh, I forgot they merged with IGN back in 2004. That's how long ago all this was. Basically, anything that had multiplayer matchmaking in the late 90s and early 2000s used GameSpy essentially, unless it was like something like Quake where you had like self-hosted servers and shit. But so they're switching that over to Steamworks. So that'll be nice. That means it works because GameSpy's been shut down for years. So those games multiplayer just haven't worked.
Yeah.
And any game that didn't get updated, like it just
abandoned.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
DLC that was previously only on the console versions is being added into this for free. Mm-hmm. Draw distance is increased, presumably beyond whatever limited version was on the PS3 and 360 versions. Better resolution support, including ultra wide. So that's a big deal. I think this is one of those games where it's like locked to 16:9 resolutions.
Oh,
and like
sucks.
Anything that's not that just has like letterboxing and it's really janky.
Yeah.
Higher quality audio, some performance fixes as well. Because this was a game that like when this port came out, it was like busted.
Just bad.
And it's still busted. Like hopefully this fixes a lot of these issues.
Straight up busted.
Like you could have like one of those top end like Intel i9 GTX 2080.
And this thing still wouldn't
it'll
run.
still run at like 20 FPS sometimes.
Jesus
like it's
Christ.
it's really, really busted.
Wasn't
up.
it like one of those Arkham games that came out was also had a really bad PC port?
Not nearly as bad as this. That was
Okay.
Arkham Knight. It just had some issues with performance. No, this one was like specifically like really terrible. But yeah, that's so funny. You hear stories about this every once in a while, but the fact that they just stumbled upon the source code for this game and were like, hey, this will be a fun weekend project. Let's fix some bugs and re-release it on Steam. It's really cool of them to do. I think I even have this in my library somewhere, so I'll probably download that and give it a try. I'll let everyone know if Saints Row 2 is running any better after this comes out.
Yeah. Give us your Saints Row 2 review.
Hell yeah. You know I will.
Post-patch.
Next, we got an interesting job listing over at NVIDIA. Of course, the manufacturers of the
Graphics cards.
world famous graphics cards. And
RTX.
also the GPU inside the Nintendo GameCube.
Really?
Yep. Some job listings have revealed a game remastering studio. The quote from Forbes reads, NVIDIA has a lot riding on the success of its GeForce RTX cards. The Santa Clara, California company is beating the real-time ray tracing drum loudly, adamant on being known as the champion of that technology before AMD steals some of its thunder next year with the PlayStation 5 and its own inevitable release of ray tracing-enabled PC graphics cards. NVIDIA has shown that with ray tracing, it can breathe new life into decades-old PC shooters like id Software's Quake 2, so why not dedicate an entire game studio to remastering timeless PC classics? A new job listing spotted by DSO Gaming confirms that's exactly what NVIDIA is cooking up. And so the ad says that NVIDIA's new remastering program is cherry-picking some of the greatest titles from the past decades and bringing them into the ray tracing age, giving them state-of-the-art visuals while keeping the gameplay that made them great. So more of like the Quake 2 RTX stuff, I guess, is going to start coming out. Did I ever show you guys the video of Quake 2 running with ray tracing?
I think you did, but I never watched it.
I don't know if you ever showed it to us, but I think you brought it
I might
up.
have thrown it in Slack or something, but it is really impressive. And this is kind of cool. I mean, it's funny as hell that they have to like go and add these into old games because so many new games are having trouble getting it running in a way that's performative. And doesn't cost an arm and a leg as far as like the FPS you're getting and how much these graphics card cost.
Yeah.
Because the Quake 2 version runs pretty well. I think you can even run it at like, I think 30 or 60 FPS even on like a 10 series card. So like our 1070 Ti, I think you can still use the Quake 2 ray tracing.
Yeah.
It doesn't run quite as well, and I think you need a lower resolution.
Yeah.
But it still runs at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of interested to see what games they pop out with it.
What do you think would get remastered?
I'm trying to think what would be some cool ones. Anything Duke Nukem would be interesting.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a fan of the old Duke Nukem games. I'm trying to think of maybe like Diablo 2 would be weird.
Yeah, that would be
some
weird.
of like the dungeons and stuff. Like I'm trying to think of games that have a lighting system already that would work with that. But I'm like that's a game with a lot of
maybe some sort of
hell,
racing game.
Diablo 3 maybe actually might work a little better, but I don't know. Yeah, any racing game might be cool, but I don't know how many of those are. It's so weird when I think about like the last generation of games. I'm trying to think of something in the era of like a Quake 2. What would have been big back then? But I don't know, man. Because it had to be stuff that's open source, presumably.
Yeah.
Because that was why they were able to do Quake 2 is because that's already open source. Like anyone can go to download that.
Yeah.
Quake 3. Give me Quake 3 next with ray tracing. Fucking love Quake 3. Fucking ray tracing, man. It's real.
The future.
It's happening.
Trace them rays.
Trace the rays.
Trace the rays.
Now our final story.
Trace the rainbow.
We saw this at E3 from Microsoft, their Halo Infinite reveal.
Yeah.
That I was not particularly impressed by. I kind of thought because the first thing we saw was like that big open field like tech demo thing from the E3 before, I think, where they first announced like the name.
Really?
And you just see like we've all seen that trailer.
I don't think I have.
What?
Yep.
There's no way. They're like, it's just the dudes in the little whatever you call the Jeeps in Halo, and they're riding across the thing, and you see like some deers and shit, and it's just like a tech demo thing. And at the very end, you just see Master Chief holding his helmet.
Nope.
Maybe I think I might have seen that one.
Oh, you had to have seen
I probably saw. I just don't remember it. Yeah, maybe.
Terrible memory on these two.
Yeah.
Anyway, we saw that, and then as the last E3, we had the story-ish trailer thing that was in engine.
Yeah.
With the dude on the ship, and he's like stranded, and
The
Master Chief shows up out of nowhere, I guess. And I was just kind of disappointed that was all we had seen.
Was that in game or was that in engine?
In engine.
In engine.
I thought they said that one was in game.
There is no game at that point.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Is like
I thought later somewhere an article was like that was actually in game, but no, never mind.
No, I think it was in engine, and it was running on the Xbox, but it wasn't like a game build or some shit.
Okay.
I don't remember. No, what we had thought was we thought it was a pre-rendered thing.
Oh, yeah,
and that was
like
a correction
CGI
I
kind
made
of
later.
thing, yeah.
That it was actually running on hardware. It's just as long as this has been in development, I think we would have heard and seen more about it by now for it to be like a fucking Halo game. Like this is
one of the biggest games
few
in the
franchises
world.
they have.
Maybe they're
I wouldn't
playing
say
it
it's one of
close
the
to
biggest
the
games in the
chest.
world.
Well, it used to be at one point.
Used to be, but yeah, between Halo 4 and 5, they kind of
Fucked it up.
screwed that one.
Yep.
I still think it should have just ended at Reach, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, according to a LinkedIn profile, Halo Infinite's lead producer, Mary Olson, has left 343 Industries just 2 months after taking the position in order to head the development of the single-player campaign for Halo Infinite.
That doesn't bode well.
After the previous creative director, Tim Longo, left the company. He left about 2 months ago at near the beginning of August now. I'm sorry, end of August. I have a quote here from an article when he left. It says, quote, roles and responsibilities of various team members regularly evolve to meet the needs of the game throughout development. We have recently had 2 changes to the Halo Infinite development team. Our executive producer, Mary Olson, will now take charge of the campaign team on Halo Infinite as the lead producer, utilizing her many years of experience at 343 Industries to help craft a great campaign for fans. Additionally, Tim Longo has recently departed our team, and we are truly thankful for all of his many contributions to our games, our studio, and the Halo universe. The overall creative vision and production of the game, led by Chris Lee, studio head of Halo Infinite. These changes have no impact of release date for Halo Infinite. I don't believe 343 Industries has currently offered a statement on Mary Olson's departure, because like I said, it was just someone internet sleuthing and saw that she is now working in another company
Right.
On her LinkedIn profile. Now, there was a reply to a thread about this on Reddit from someone who works at the studio. I'm just going to go ahead and read his whole little dealie.
Yep.
Quote, hey, all, I want to jump in and clarify what Tim and Mary's roles were at the studio because there seems to be quite a bit of confusion here. Before that happens, though, I'd like to reassure everyone that the entire Halo Infinite team is rallying behind the game and is working hard to make sure we can execute on its vision.
Why wouldn't you?
Tim's role as a creative director was to help make creative decisions and around the design process, and direction of the game, whether it was campaign, multiplayer, etc. Mary's role as an executive producer and then lead producer on campaign was to help drive the game to its completion for our holiday 2020 release date, with the latter specifically focusing on campaign deliverables. Unfortunately, the thread's title saying he was... I guess he's directly quoting, or maybe typoed that. He was... Because it says, quote, he was replaced with Mary Olsen and she also left. So I can't tell... Oh, he was quoting directly. Wow, kind of a dick move, Unshiek. What if this guy's not a native speaker, huh? You gonna go call out his Reddit titles? That's very rude. He could have written it better.
Yeah.
He was replaced is far from accurate. It implies that Mary took over creative control of the entire game, didn't like what she saw, and then decided to leave. If that's what actually happened, I could totally understand getting worried, but that isn't the case, as she was a lead producer and not a new creative director. Producers at our studio support designers, engineers, artists, etc. by helping each of them track and hit deliverables. They also ensure people they support are not overwhelmed with too much work and have all the tools and information needed to hit their deadlines. To put it simply, producers are the ones tasked with making sure the studio is always moving forward. Even our community team has a producer to ensure we're tracking our deliverables, blogs, social media posts, fighting emails, etc. Basically, this is just him jumping in to say, hey guys, don't freak out, blah, blah, blah. And some other writers were quick to point out that a lot of people from 343 have lied in the past about certain things as far as like
really
things that were happening with like Halo during Halo 5's development and everything. Because there was a big one was that they were talking about, oh yeah, Halo 5's main focus is Master Chief, and then half the game you play is someone else.
Yeah.
Like so,
they pulled a Halo 2.
Yeah, don't know.
Fucking
You can
Arbiter.
take
God
it out what you will.
That shit.
Obviously, he's not going to jump in and be like, yeah, dude, it's fucking going crazy in here. The game's fucking busted. We're never going to get it out.
Somebody put that
We're all
fire
freaking
out.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's still just, it's
It's
an
funny
odd
that you
shakeup.
say that, because what I got from it was, look, she was just here to get us to a point, and then she left, and everything's fine. You know,
Yeah, like-
But
Yeah,
you
no need to
pointing out
worry,
that
guys.
like everybody, there have been like misleadings before. I was like, oh wait, this guy's totally full of shit.
Yeah, it's hard to say because
Who do I believe?
yeah,
Who do I believe?
it's very odd. Again, it's one of those moments where what was she doing for 2 months as executive
Bungie,
producer
come
that
back.
was just like, oh, we need her in this position
Bungie.
so
And
that
now
she
she's
can leave
gone,
2
yeah.
months later. Like,
Yeah, this kind of makes it sound like they brought her in just for like crunch time, to where they could meet like a deadline, and that now that that's been met,
yeah,
she's
she came in, reworked some of the spreadsheets, changed the wall that says what's done and what's not done yet. Like, I don't know. It's just odd. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot of faith in this game after Halo
5.
4 and 5. Yeah, so
I'm never gonna play it. So it's
neither
I'm
am I.
hopeful
I'm
it
not
comes
gonna
I
buy
out.
bet you
an
it's going to
Xbox.
come out on Games Pass. I might download it and
it's
see how it
definitely gonna
is.
come out on Games Pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't.
I don't have an Xbox.
Yep.
That's Ethan.
Basically, yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
true. That is me. I don't have an Xbox.
We'll see. I hope it. I always hope a game comes out and does well, but it's looking
Master
it's looking
Chief
weird.
deserves a good game, but you know they just
He
They
had
just
his
haven't
good
hit the mark.
games.
Bungie's busy playing Destiny 2.
Maybe we should quit doing just 3 franchises. Xbox. Maybe we should make something new. Maybe they are. You
Yep.
know, because they got all these new studios. But
They're not.
well, guys, that's the news.
Really? That's it.
That's it.
That's cool.
It's kind of light. We talked about PlayStation 5 earlier.
Yeah.
Ethan, this is almost more specifically for you because when it comes to new consoles, you're typically a late bloomer. How are you feeling about a new PlayStation coming out next year?
Fine. I'm ready.
You're ready?
Yeah, because I mean, I just recently I've had the Pro for like a year. I'm ready for the next one. Yeah.
Is it something you're thinking about getting pretty early on?
It's Christmas next year.
Holiday,
probably.
If we had to guess, it'd probably be November, mid-November.
Yeah. If the money is right, then yes, I'll probably be getting one.
So this is not necessarily one where you're thinking you're going to hold off for a while.
Truth be told, I'll probably follow the trend that you do just
Yeah.
to see, because that way I won't be wrong.
Well, this one, I'm day one. I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I know for a fact I'm going to be day one.
Wait,
I never said I was day one for PS4. I bought a launch console PS3.
I thought we had talked about this previous that you were going to wait because there was going to be some, PlayStation 4 games that they were still. And
No, I said this is the one I don't have to wait because it's all going to be backwards compatible.
no. I thought you were.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought you
that's
were going,
right.
I thought
Yeah.
you were going the other way.
Like my
with
whole
it.
library, like when they said PS4 backwards compatibility was in, I was like, cool, day one I can get this.
Then yeah, I mean, I'll probably as long as the price is affordable for me and I can trade in my Pro towards it,
I'm sure you can, assuming GameStop's still around, which it
Yeah.
looks like they will be.
I can still do Amazon.
What do you think? What do you think the price point will be?
$5.99.
No.
You don't think so? You think $499?
I think
it's one of those two. Like you can't go higher than $600.
So
and you can't go lower because they won't make any money.
I'm of two minds about it.
Okay.
Should we do predictions? Are we going to call this like we're going to just set what we think?
I just told you the only options. That there can't be any like that is the range.
Oh no, I know. I'm saying should we
like,
do solid like not no range? Like
sure.
Pick a number.
Pick a number.
We'll come back and we'll look.
Now that include like bundles, or are we going to do
Well,
no, just base console?
Strictly
So
console?
I think we're past the point where there's multiple SKUs. I don't think it works.
What do you mean?
So like when PS3 came out, there was a 20 gig model and a 60 gig model.
Sure. No, you're totally right.
Oh, you
They're
think
not going
this
to
is
do
all
that.
just
Like
going to be
Xbox
standard
One S
one
came out,
It's
terabyte?
going to be a
was-
standard. Yeah, you're right. I think that.
Yeah, like because part of me wishes there was like maybe
What would be the other option? 2 terabyte? I don't know how that works with storage and
I would say
SSDs.
less even. Like here's a 500 gig one to get it down to like a $400 price point because
I don't think they'd go less than a terabyte. I think
I
that's,
don't either, but
that's their standard.
it's odd. That's what I mean is that well, okay, I guess you're right. Maybe
I think if anything, they'd have more of a professional.
you think it'd be a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte split.
I mean, can you go like 3? Like, I don't know what the next like increment to where it would be
Could you
good,
do like how much do you think like
because in my mind it would be 1.5 because that just seems like the next like if you're gonna need 2.
You're not getting a 5 terabyte.
Yeah, I know.
solid.
That's why it sounds ridiculous. So would it just be 2, or would you go like
That's the thing is
1 and 3? Like, I don't know if that's so much.
even a 1 terabyte solid state drive is the hardware that is making me question whether they can hit 400. That's why I'm almost thinking if lower is another SKU option to give a cheaper price point to like get you in, because 1 terabyte already is still kind of pricey.
yeah.
Like I think they're now
What
coming
is-
to the point where it's like $100 for a 1
what was the Pro? What was the Pro launch at?
Pro launched at 400, the same price as the PS4 when it launched.
Then I think
It's tough to say with all the hardware.
I
they're
say
packing into this thing.
$549.
I was thinking the same thing.
It just sounds so high
I
because you're
think,
$550
I think it's the
550.
extra. I think it's the extra 150 for the solid state, and then, or maybe the extra 100 is for the solid state, and then the extra 50 just because it's the new console. Maybe they think that, and maybe even 600 for because they think they can throw a game in there. and
600
get you.
almost ruined the PlayStation 3
Yep.
though. Like that was
Yeah.
such a clusterfuck when
Yeah.
that came out and they were like this thing's
That's why I don't.
$599
That's why I think
US.
600 would be a little bit much, but maybe with a bundle for like an extra controller in a game. I don't know.
But you don't want to bundle extra shit because like
I
when
don't
you're,
know.
when you're trying to build an install base early on quickly. That's why I'm of two minds about it where it's like the price is a big point.
Because
Like-
if you spend all your
Like if
money,
it's $550 day one, I don't know that I'd buy it.
yeah, because you can't get a game.
Well, you could if you missed a money bags, but yeah, but exactly, yeah. Like $550 means instead of a console coming out $400 and buying three
A parent
games,
on a budget
yeah,
is not going to be able to buy you that and a game.
yeah. And I don't think they're going to try to go we're the premium console route again because that was what they tried to do with the PS3 and it fucked up their entire plan.
So you
Yeah, 'cause I
think
remember-
And it gave Xbox the room to be like,
think-
oh well, we're only 400 or whatever the fuck it was.
$400 for the PS5?
I mean, I
Sounds
want
like-
it to be
that
400.
Sounds like
I don't know that it will
lowballing
be.
themselves so much. Do I even want it if it's worth only $400?
So here's something to consider too. Now, even when the PlayStation 3 came out and they were selling it at $600 a unit,
Does sound like
they were making
so
a loss.
much.
They were making a loss on that. They were not making a profit on the PlayStation 3.
Because they weren't selling enough.
PlayStation 4, when it came out, every console made a profit for them. Because the cost it made to build the PlayStation 4 was less than the $400 they were charging for it.
Wait, go back to what you just said?
I said PlayStation 3 was sold at a loss. It was a loss leader. Loss leader means you sell this product with the hopes that other things that are attached to that product will be what generates your profit. So you spend $600. Say it costs.
Wait, it cost more to make the PS3?
The PlayStation 3 when it came out, I believe it cost Sony like $735
Wow.
per unit to manufacture.
Sorry, that didn't make
Really?
sense
But they
because I
sold
didn't
it at
think
600.
that was like
For
because
almost-
who would do that? Like who would sell a product for less
every
than it's
console
worth?
manufacturer ever before the generation of the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Was that just like
They're almost always loss leaders because you make your money on software. Because when Sony sells a piece of software on the PlayStation 4, they get a 30% cut of that and more if it's a first party game.
That ain't my business. I don't know that shit.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That sounds crazy. Yeah. From like a manufacturer's point of view, that just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, because again, your idea is that, we're putting PlayStation consoles out there. You buy one system, you're probably the attach rate for PS4 is like, I think 10 games on average per person.
Sure.
Is I think what the full blown average is. Like there's still somebody out there who's like, he bought it and he's like, only ever bought Call of Duty and that was the only thing he ever bought. And then you have other people that buy 40, 50.
You're not going to trick me. Yeah, whatever.
But I think the average is like 10 games.
Sure.
It's $60 a pop. 30% of 60 is 20-ish. It's a little less than 20. Times 10, you're looking at $200. If you sold the PlayStation 3 and lost $125 on there, but made $200 in profit off the games, that covers your loss and you made a bonus on that person because of the software sales.
Sure.
So that's usually how it goes. The PS4 and Xbox One generation was a big deal because they were selling at a profit immediately, which of course looks really good to your investors because they didn't lose a few $1 million that they're going to make up over the next few years of this console generation. And same with the PlayStation VR. That was a big deal for them that was immediately generating profit for every PSVR sold.
Did they, okay, again, you say that they just planned on making their money on the software.
Yeah.
Did the idea just not think of to make the money on the actual thing? Like that seems so much easier. Or is it just not possible with the parts that they were using to make?
It's not possible. Yeah, you'd be making like
that's thing. That's sure. If
when a new generation of consoles come out, what are you looking at? Oh well, how much better is it than the last? thing?
Yeah, sure. If that's fine, if it was an impossibility,
and again, it doesn't always work. Again, the PS3 cost Sony a lot of money for a very long time. It didn't break even for them until about 5 or 6 years into the system.
And
once
then
they started coming out with the slim models,
and then they started
stuff.
breaking. Yeah.
So it's usually what they've been doing, and that was the big change with the PS4 and Xbox One is what I'm getting at. So all of that being explained and having been said, is this a generation where they can take that hit and say, to keep their market dominance, PS5 is launching at $400, terabyte solid state drive, ray tracing. You guys know what ray tracing is. You've seen all the PC Digital Foundry videos, blah, 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 blah. Do they take a hit on the hardware side? Because if they can get it out for $400, already having been the market dominator the previous generation, telling you, hey, don't freak out about getting the PS5 right now. All of your PS4 games that you're still buying and are still coming out are coming with you day one. Then it's almost just like, oh, I'm getting a PS4 Pro 2, but except for the fact that it really is a leap in generation of the console. Do they take that hit knowing that they have shit like Spider-Man that's selling 20 million units?
I mean, if
The Last of Us will probably sell 25 million
if
units.
If they've already made like the goal at one point to be making your money elsewhere on top of something else, I mean, yeah, they're probably already, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, what do you think, Drew? I mean, like, does $500 and maybe making a profit right away, does that still make sense for a company that sold 100 million PlayStation 4s already?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to think. Yeah, again, I don't know.
It's a lot. Yeah,
I'm just, you guys have more business savvy than I do, so
I have zero business savvy.
You're at least insider knowledge. Like
savvy.
I this is beyond me. So, like, I think 500 would be a good price point. You know.
Yeah. Now, knowing that, I think they might try to push it a little bit, considering the well laid foundation, solid community, and they've proven with PlayStation 4, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, and I think my worry too is. Shit, how much was the Xbox One X when that came out? Was it also 400 or 500?
Couldn't even tell you.
I want to say it was a little more pricey
because the Xbox One came
they were
out
trying
at
to like advertise it as like all-in-one entertainment thing, and so I think that they were trying to push for a more premium price.
I'm talking about the One X and not the Xbox One.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'm sorry.
The new revision.
Yeah. I paid $400 for mine. No, or maybe $350.
Oh, okay. The Xbox One X will retail for $499 when it launches. Yeah, and you got that stupid fucking Fallout bundle.
Yeah. But that was just because it was the white one.
Fallout, what was it again?
76.
Fallout 76. Oof.
I remember I played it for 5 minutes, it crashed on me, and then I just never went back.
Do you still have the disc?
No, it came downloaded.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. You should stream Fallout 76.
Yeah.
Tell us, see if it's doing any better. Yeah, I don't know, because, I mean, obviously, from the Microsoft side, it would be easier than to eat that, like, loss day one, and that's where my worry comes in. Like, oh, does Microsoft just who comes out first and says the price, and then who has the balls to be like, fuck you, we're undercutting you like $100. Because that's almost what Microsoft would need to do. Like, they need to either come out at the same price as the PS5 and then bundle like a year of Game Pass, a year of Xbox Live, or Game Pass Ultimate or whatever, or come out like $50 to $100 below and just eat it for a little while.
I don't know if Microsoft can afford that.
I think they can.
Yeah.
Microsoft's pretty big.
It's not about them being big. It's where your money's at.
It's in the company. It's in a big bank with Bill Gates laying on top
It's
and
not
Scrooge McDuck in it.
That is not how that shit works, and you know it. They don't actually have all of the money that they have like in a bank.
It's in
like,
cash.
It's not
Hold
in
hard.
cash.
Cash.
It's all
what Bill-
fucking digital numbers. They don't have shit. It's all credit. Like, I forgot my original point.
I was
I think you
Oh
said
yeah,
it.
Microsoft. Yeah, fuck them.
Microsoft.
Fuck
Microsoft.
Let's see. So Microsoft,
Yeah, their net worth is probably a lot. Like, it's not the point though. Like,
Google, you give me the information I want, and
God
then you
damn it.
take it away from me. But so day one, you're thinking, yeah, PlayStation 5, you might as well just go ahead and get it.
yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Now, is there anything that you're looking for in a next gen console that you don't have now? Is there something where you turn on your PS4 and you wish it did something else?
Nope.
No?
Not really. No. I like the so the interface, yeah, the interface is kind of a little boring. But like I
You want something flashier?
not
I like the
even though,
interface.
like
It's simple
really
but
Also,
easy.
I like
Yeah.
its simple. I like its simplicity, but like I wish there were more options
Mm-hmm.
to like customize it, maybe. But for the most part, yeah, I really. What's to change? It's not broken. Don't fix it.
So you're a happy camper.
I'm Sony. Stay the course, bro. You are doing just fine. Remake Demon Souls, but that's it.
Other than that, yeah,
Blue
we
Point,
didn't,
put it
Blue
on
Point, get
PlayStation
on that
Plus.
shit.
we didn't talk about that there's
That's fine.
more and more rumors coming that there's probably going to be a Demon Souls remake
I'm excited.
Really?
from Blue Point
I
Games.
had. I saw a video that somebody was like, "Oh, Bloodborne 2," and I immediately was like, "Go read this."
Oh God, you left a YouTube comment.
I may have deleted it before I posted it.
That's
I
the way
usually
to
do
it.
that.
Yeah,
'cause it's
just type it out. That's just
Just
as
type
good,
it out.
and
Makes
then
you feel
cancel.
better. Because most people are just so stupid.
There's just no point.
Yeah.
There's no point getting into that
You probably just
conversation.
put Bloodborne 2 to clickbait so you could get some views.
Bloodborne 2's
And
coming.
you fell for it.
I knew it wasn't real before I clicked it. I just wanted to
yet you
dislike.
still gave
'cause I
him the
wanted
click.
to
Well,
dislike
it's like
his
watching
video.
Ancient Aliens. It's like, they're full of shit.
I love
they
Ancient
didn't
Aliens,
find aliens at the end of this episode. That's not what you're watching it for.
Yeah.
13 episodes. They all find aliens at the end of them.
Yeah, there's dude. That's what's so crazy is we've got like 300 different aliens out there now, and no one's paying attention.
No.
Because you go into the History Channel for history, and they're giving us the future. It's bad branding. We got to
Swamp
fix
people.
that. Now,
Shark Week.
before we close out, I did want to talk about
That's
something
Discovery.
I've been watching. I started The Leftovers
What is
on
that?
HBO. Okay. The show, I think it started in like 2007, 2008 or something. The whole premise is that an event occurs across the world where it's like the snap in Endgame, where just 2% of the population just disappear. Like they just poof, gone.
Yeah.
Like they were never there. People remember them though, but there's like zero there's no Thanos that's on the news.
They're just
like,
gone.
They're just gone.
And
They're-
everybody just kind of has to come to terms with it for their own reasons.
yeah, and so like you got of course like a lot of religious folks that think it was like the rapture, and then but you got other people that are like, well,
Ghosts,
it
aliens.
couldn't have been the rapture because like this dude was like a serial killer.
Yeah,
and
he fucking hated God.
Yeah, like it doesn't make. I just finished season 1. That
sounds kinda cool.
Really good. I
How
was
many
surprised.
seasons are there?
There's 3 seasons. I
Okay.
think 10 episodes
You said
each.
Nice.
It's on HBO. Yeah.
It's neat.
Justin Theroux is in it. A couple other actresses, like one of the actresses I recognize is from Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
Never watched it. Any sex?
Liv Tyler's in it. It's on HBO. Of course there's
Nudity?
sex. Yes.
Nice.
Nudity.
The Justin Theroux's daughter's hot. She's in this. Well,
wouldn't
not
know.
not an actual daughter, but like
But who plays her
whoever
daughter?
plays the daughter in the show.
That's fucked up.
She's really hot.
Be careful.
I recognize the wife, I think, but in this show, like the way they have her like done up and everything,
Careful.
she kind of looks like Willem Dafoe.
Ouch.
And it's been weird because once I thought of it, and now I
You
can't
just can't
unsee
get it out of your head.
And
Anytime
I'm-
his sex scene's happening, all you can imagine is him just going, Spider-Man!
She hasn't been in a sex scene,
The
Okay.
part when he like puts his fingers in the pie.
but it's still I just. But now I'm just every time the credits roll, I'm looking for his name and like maybe this is like a role I didn't realize he was in. Like it's
Wow.
That's awesome.
yeah, it was because what I saw was because it's one of those shows where like after every episode I'm pulling up Reddit to read the old discussion threads from like
Okay.
people that were watching it week to week when it
Nerd.
came out. because there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And
it's
written
Twin
by
Peaks blog forums.
Damon
too.
Lindelof. Is that? I think that's his name, but he's the guy. He was one of the writers of Lost, and he's written a bunch of other stuff too.
So he's all into that mystery shit.
Yeah, the J.J. Abrams mystery box. But I was reading one of the threads, and somebody was like doing their summary recap thing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, hot cop and hot cop daughter," and using those as like the names of the characters and stuff because like you couldn't remember the names of any of them. He said, in that one woman that looks like Dennis Leary, and and as soon as he said it, made me laugh, and I'm thinking about that the next time I watched it. I'm like, no, that's way more of a Willem Dafoe. Like it's totally Willem Dafoe. But that's been really good. It's another one of those where I don't remember why I started it. I think I've just heard people say it's really good for a long time, and watched one episode thinking, ooh, I'm just going to watch this one, and then binged it over 2 days. I don't usually do that. So when I find a show that I think is binge worthy, I got to shout it out. Yeah. I got to let people know because like I don't watch TV a whole lot anymore.
I binged an Adult Swim show, Dream Corp LLC, which I really enjoyed.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like this guy goes into a dream clinic because he can't get a boner. So like,
because that's where you go, is to a dream.
Yeah,
clinic.
Exactly. Because he's got some subconscious shit going on that he has to deal with.
You go to,
and so basically they put him under and they go mess with his dreams and everything, and it's all super trippy. It's pretty good.
Everything on Adult Swim is super trippy.
Yeah, have y'all checked out the guy Toreskovsky's the dude that did Samurai Jack?
Oh, his new thing Primal. I haven't watched it yet.
I saw some clips and it just looks intense. Like I want to check it out, but it's probably pretty cool. It's probably pretty short.
That reminds me, I need to actually finish like the new Samurai Jack because I never saw the new episodes.
I think I finished it. I think I made a huge deal about it when it was releasing, and I tried to catch it, and I think I finished it.
I watched Adult Swim the other day for the first time in forever.
Did you catch like Dragon Ball Z Super or something?
Well, I have those like on.
I know, but
since I have the Hulu Live TV, I can watch them like on like
whenever
the
they come
DVR
out.
thing, so I don't have to watch the commercials.
But it's still nice to like see it, and then it's like, oh, other people are watching this. That's nice.
Oh no. I just mean like I didn't. The way that I watch it is recorded from there, but there's no commercials or ads. It's just the little bumpers or whatever. But I actually put on Adult Swim, so I was eating some chips and salsa and saw Rick and Morty was on, and I was like, okay, I'll watch Adult Swim for a minute. And goddamn, it's getting weirder and weirder. Just all the advertisements and stuff. I forgot how fucking fucked up it is.
Oh, I haven't watched it on like live TV.
It's shock value. Some of that stuff isn't even weed at this point. It's like
it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know, man.
It's just shock value. Like
it's not shocking. It's just fucking weird. And I'm like, that's cool. I remember thinking this was cool.
Don't you miss like the old days of Adult Swim, like when it was just like, all kids out of the pool?
Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Space Ghost.
I don't miss it. No,
I do. Home movies.
I love home movies.
That's just nostalgia. Like I miss the programming, but not like that specific.
I don't know. Someone posted on Reddit the other day
of like a video
like the
old Tom,
intro.
but we got him back.
Yeah.
I did. Oh, that's right. Because I was seeing less of the advertisements for Adult Swim because that part of Adult Swim's line was Toonami now. Yeah. So when I was catching up on Dragon Ball Super, it was you get Tom. He did a review of. He did a review of what was it the Zelda Necromancer game or whatever? Not Necro Dancer, where I can't remember.
What?
So you never heard of Crypt of the Necro Dancer?
No.
So it's a dance game puzzle. Well, not puzzle. Well, there's puzzles and stuff. So the idea is that like there's music playing in the background and you move your characters to the beats that are on there, and your enemies move to the beat as well. So it's like left, up, left, up, attack, back, attack, or like whatever. And so your every movement and every action you're doing is to the beat, and you have like this beat line on the bottom that shows.
Is this on like the Switch or something?
Yes, I think Crypt of the Necro Dancer made it to a few different platforms.
Okay.
But then that same developer worked with Nintendo to make a
Zelda version,
a Zelda themed one. Yeah, so you're in Hyrule and but they mix in like the Zelda style puzzles and stuff, but it's still the idea that you're doing it to the beat of.
That's interesting.
Of
that's
these
cool.
like
did it work
these,
well?
Remixes of. I mean, I haven't played it, but I mean,
I was asking about
the
like
people
his review.
that like
yeah.
it. I don't remember. Okay. It's an ad. It's not really a review. It's a fucking ad on Toonami. Yeah, it's not a review. But I forgot that existed, and he did that little quick talk about it. But I honestly, someone like you'd probably like it, especially because it's like the remixes and stuff of like the classic Zelda themes
are pretty good
and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've never heard of that. I think it's totally your kind of game for sure.
I might check it out.
Look into that.
Yeah, definitely will. I mean, you've been right all the time before. So
I know. I got my finger on your button.
Yeah. I don't like how you said that.
Digging around in your little belly button.
No. I'm good on that.
Tickling your space. Your space buttons, man. Super duper tickles. I don't know.
That's anytime you said that now, it just reminds me of that scene from Dodgeball where Justin Long is like cleaning out the big tire truck, and the guy is just like digging in his belly button. He's just like, "That's it, there, boy. Get in there nice and deep, like."
Yep.
I'm not going to be able to fall asleep tonight. Now, all I'm going to be able to think is just Travis digging in his belly button.
You'll fall asleep because I'll be right there next to you. Yeah. Touching the buttons. Ethan's sad because usually I touch his buttons, but I'm not even paying attention to him.
Play us out there, boys, so we can do watches. Come on.
All right. This has been episode 20 of the Absent-Minded Podcast. I'm sorry we were a little off this week.
That's fine.
I'm hungover. Ethan and Drew are just tired.
Yeah.
They're always so tired.
I was up pretty early.
You know the drill. You can go to absentmindedpodcast.com to find every episode of our show. You can listen to us on all your podcast platforms of choice. You can find our individual handles and our handles as Absent-Minded on the website as well. While you're there, you can leave us a little voicemail if you want. Give us something to talk about. Play you on the air if I like your voice. If I don't like their voice, why would I play it? What if they sound like a screechy chipmunk?
First person to ever send us the thing.
Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not the first.
You holding back on us?
Well, no one else goes to the Anchor page, so I kind of get final cut on all these things.
Oh my god!
I check out the Anchor page every once in a
There's
while.
no way you do, because you would have told me I fucked up and didn't
page.
publish the episode last week on time. Yeah.
See you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Love you.
Take it easy.